and Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And I'm back, even though you don't know.
You were gone?
Yeah.
They don't know you were gone.
Most of the time I'm gone, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I was away. I went to New York to take care of some stuff. And now I'm back.
Your stuff? Did you unstuff your stuff?
I did actually.
So there's no more stuff?
There's, well, new stuff. But
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's better stuff. And so unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, I only got back last night, so I did not have time to get any news ready for you, but I will just be the sidekick.
Yeah. So
That doesn't mean you kick me in the side.
That's just what I was going to say.
It just means I will make hilarious comments on your stories.
Well, I have good stories, so how do you know they're going to be hilarious
Believe
comments?
me, I'll make something up. Don't
I
worry.
bet you will. All right, well, so I'll get started then, and
Go
then
ahead.
because there's maybe things on here you probably don't even know about.
There's a lot I don't know.
Okay, listen to me. Did you know that there's going to be another, or there is another Russia? I guess there's going to be another.
What?
Russia G. I'm not even done.
Well, you just get to the point, Missy.
Did you know that there's going to be another G20 meeting
It
in
already
Australia?
happened. It happened already.
It
It's
had-
finished.
It did?
Yeah, I'll see. I know more than you, and I didn't even do the news.
Did you know that Putin had his warships off the coast of Australia?
No.
You didn't know
But
that?
did you know he left early and they thought that he got insulted and fled the country?
That I didn't know. So is the G20 meeting over or not?
Yeah, it was only 2 days and then he left. It's over.
Well, apparently the Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott physically threatened Putin before he came.
I don't believe it.
That's what they said here. It said, let me find my quote here. Let's see, threatened. Okay, Abbott, who had previously said he would physically confront the Russian president over the Flight 17 disaster that killed 298 people, including 38 Australian citizens and residents, did little to dampen tensions with his latest critique of Putin's Russia.
Let me tell you, that's all for public consumption because they're all doing it. They already know what happened and they know it was all plot anyway.
All right, well, anyway, apparently then Putin moved his warships on the coast of Australia.
Because he would really attack Australia. Really?
And then British Prime Minister David Cameron said Russia's being much more assertive now than it has been in a very long time.
Well, that's true.
And it says, interestingly, do you believe this? Russia's economy is declining even as Russia's assertiveness is increasing.
That is Western propaganda.
Okay. So anyway, that's the first news. Then the second news is, do you know that they're accusing the president, Russian President Vladimir Putin, on hitting on China's president's wife?
Again, really?
But did you know that?
Seriously?
Did you hear that?
Maybe he just asked her to do laundry.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did hear that, but I'm like, come on.
Okay,
you
then
gotta
he-
make up better stories
He
than
put
that.
a coat on her.
Yeah, maybe she was cold.
That's what they said, but apparently they're making a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
And New Zealand even called it Coatgate.
Okay, New Zealand can't afford to say anything about other countries.
But it says neither Putin, the object of his alleged affections, nor her husband have commented on the incident.
You know what she told him?
What?
You get out now!
Did you know that that is symbolic of somebody trying to take over? For example, we know people who have come into this house specifically who are, remember, moving their coats around from chair to chair, trying to show that they're authority. Now I see that he's putting his coat on her, so is that some kind of symbol? Because that was...
Well, you know, Russia and China are very much allied right now.
That's right. And so that I have a couple of the Chinese stories actually.
You
which
do?
I do. Which
You
are,
have one from column A, one from column B?
I do. And then, you know, Sweden confirmed that a small foreign submarine illegally entered its waters last month.
Okay, someone in Sweden has been drinking too much Absolute.
And they said on October 17th there were eyewitness reports of some type of underwater craft in the archipelago that extends from Stockholm into the Baltic Sea, but the vessel probably escaped into the Baltic.
Yes, yes.
And military analysts said most likely it came from Russia, but they're not confirming
Always
that.
blame the Russians.
That's right. So I thought that was interesting. And then more Russian stories here. Oh, I also wanted, and Chinese stories actually. I'll get mine in order here. And last week you were the one not in order. Now to me, this week I'm apparently
My dear, you are never in order.
not in order. Okay. Then you knew that Obama was in China.
Yes.
And they dressed the Nehru jackets.
Like Star Trek.
Yeah, which was so odd, I thought.
Well, duh, staged alien invasion trigger.
Well, apparently they're doing something. Anyway, did you know that now that Obama announced that the two countries, China and the U.S., will start granting visas to each other's citizens valid up to a decade?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Russia was going to do that until they got insulted.
Yeah, I thought Russia went ahead and did that, but they didn't.
No, well, now you can get a visa for an extended period of time, but because of what the U.S. did,
Right.
they're now denying visas to a lot of people.
Okay, and then apparently Obama had a short visit with Putin, but they didn't have time to discuss any issues. However, they're continuing to talk about the close ties of Russia and China. And we want to remember that they're both working on the Panama Canal.
The Chinese.
The Chinese and the Russians, as well as the new Suez Canal. They're having the Russians, remember, working on, they're guarding the workers. So we have now Russia, China, and the U.S. that are kind of showing some kind of economic, political ties together. And like what we've talked about before, the secret government coming into the forefront. So before, these were all our enemies, and now even though they're showing that there are tensions, they're still trying to show the three together as some kind of superpower. So, and then of course, they're talking about new reforms in China, which I'm not going to go into the details, but they're saying that now the Chinese stocks are becoming attractive. And they're saying, first of all, China wasn't the country to invest in. Now they're saying there are new reforms. So even though the reforms are going to make Chinese stock go down, eventually they're going to come back again once it settles out. So again,
It's kind of like Chinese food. You eat it, then an hour later you're hungry again. So then you get more, then you get hungry, and it's back and forth like that. It's the same.
And so anyway,
all same.
so that's what's happening, and the Russia,
You know that I'm not politically
Chinese,
correct, so.
U.S. strategies. Then we're going to move on to ISIS.
ISIS?
And to ISIS. And Turkey.
I just spoke to a Turkish guy about that.
Yeah. What did you learn? Anything you want to report before I report?
Is it about the journalist? Well, I think I spoke about that last week.
Okay, well, no, this is about how that Turkey, for some reason, is not cooperating with the U.S., and the U.S. can't figure that one out.
Well, can I just say something?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you have it.
Probably.
The Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan claims that the Muslims discovered America 300 years before Columbus.
No, that I've not heard.
And that the first mosque was in Cuba.
Really?
And that Christopher Columbus saw it on top of the hill. And now he's offered Cubans that he'll build another mosque in Cuba because they don't have any more left.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that I did not hear. Now, this is just saying about how the U.S. can't understand it because Turkey is not aligning with them like they would like to. However, my feeling is Turkey probably understands that ISIS is staged and created, and they're rebelling.
Plus Erdogan, I just spoke yesterday with a Turkish guy. He was actually from Izmir.
Yeah, we've been to Izmir.
Yes, we've been to Izmir. I told him about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that he believes Erdogan is trying to create a new Ottoman Empire. And that's why he likes ISIS, because they will help him get his empire, because they've already, 2 days ago, declared a caliphate empire.
Interesting. All right, well, that makes sense to me because they are obviously developing their forces against the West, because even here it says that, let's see, Washington announced that Turkey gave U.S. warplanes permission to use its strategically located air base to strike Islamic State targets. But then Turkey said that such permission had not been granted, even though Obama administration officials said it had. So this tells me that there's stuff going back and forth that they're not telling us about, obviously.
Well, I will also tell you that the Turkish people do not like Erdogan. They think he's a dictator, and they want him removed. So here's another Stewart prediction, is that the U.S. will eventually, probably very soon, have him either assassinated or overthrown.
That's what I was thinking, because this now Walker, who is a former, Joshua Walker, a former senior State Department advisor and a current fellow at the German Marshall Fund for the U.S., says, quote, "I've been working on U.S.-Turkish relations for about 15 years, and I've never seen the level of public tension that I'm seeing right now. Everybody is anti-ISIS, and it's just confounding for the U.S. administration how Turkey could not possibly be 100% on board," unquote.
That's how they are.
Yeah, it said that the president is continuing to go more into the Islamic.
And you know what else I heard?
What?
Erdogan is actually Kurdish.
Because the Kurds, I believe, are descendants of Emmanuel.
Oh, I know that they are. They're part of the lost tribes.
Right, so therefore it makes sense they're trying to get rid of them.
And
Yes?
the people who are in ISIS are actually the descendants of the Assyrians, who were the world's first terrorists.
Interesting. Did you know that ISIS is now minting its own money?
Of course, why not? They have an empire now.
Yeah, they said that they plan to mint new gold, silver, and copper coins as part of a new currency called dinar, which I thought...
Dinar, the Iraqis use dinar.
Yeah, but they're calling it new.
It's a new dinar, but that's been around for a long time.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought all that was interesting. So a lot of things are continuing to go on into the Middle East. And back here to the U.S., some interesting things as always.
The USSA.
Yeah. Did you know that the Postal Service is worried about what climate change will mean for the mail?
Okay. No, did they look out the window? Because it's snowing.
But listen to this. It's crazy because it says that nearly 40% of the U.S. population lies in coastal areas.
40%?
That's what they say. So sea level rise driven by climate change could put many of the services, facilities, and staff in risky areas.
I don't think so.
So isn't that an odd story?
It is an odd story because, I'm sure there's minimal post offices or buildings along the coast.
Yeah, it says they're assessing how rising temperatures might affect its equipment.
Let me translate. Now we need to raise the postal costs again to cover all these possible damages. So we're going to charge you twice as much now. That's what that's about.
Yeah, it says that more days with temperatures that are hotter than average could pose challenges for their employees.
Have they been outside? Because it's like below freezing and snowing.
And it says the sea level rise is going to put their services, facilities, and staff in risky areas.
You know what?
And so that's going to change how they make their decisions about their future leases and construction.
I want them to come here.
Yeah, I think it's silly. But I thought, what an odd story. And then, listen, now speaking of odd story, listen to this one it's about the Ku Klux Klan.
The KKK?
The KKK has now decided to open its doors to Jews, homosexuals, and black people.
Didn't I say that last week?
No.
I didn't?
Nope.
Ah.
In a bizarre recruitment
Yeah,
drive.
because I was going to apply.
Well, you're not?
No?
Anyway.
Because I have a nice white sheet and everything.
Yeah, well, they have to wear that. It says new recruits will have to wear the white robes, masks, and conical hats and take part in rituals.
Oh, I love that.
According to the founder, John Abar.
If they serve sushi, I'm there.
Oh, and also they want Hispanics to join.
Por supuesto.
And it says the only requirements for joining the new KKK group, you have to be over the age of 18.
I am.
And you have to live in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh.
So apparently you can't.
Darn.
And apparently they've already been speaking to some civil rights groups, and some black people have already expressed interest in joining. That's what they're claiming.
Those are real smart black people.
And they're now going to call them the Rocky Mountain Knights.
Wait a second. Then that's not the Pacific Northwest.
Well, that's what
Is
they're
it the
calling.
Pacific Northwest or is it the Rocky Mountains? What is it?
Apparently it's the Rocky Mountains Northwest. That's what it says.
That doesn't make sense.
Rocky
You're from
Mountain
Seattle,
Knights.
you know that.
Rocky Mountain Knights. So anyway, it's going to be interesting to
That
see
should
how
tell you the
that
level
plays
of they don't even know geography.
Well, that's what's going on there. And then we have a researcher, Helen Mayberg, who's a medical doctor, a researcher at Emory University in Atlanta, who is helping depressed people that nobody else can help. She said even those who with medical shock, what do they call it, electric shock, that can help them, and pills. So she said that 75% of her patients get better and stay better, and of course she's only used
What is she using?
28 people.
What does she use?
She implants in their brain
Ah,
electrodes with a battery pack implanted under the skin below the collarbone.
I see.
And apparently it attacks whatever portion of the brain depression lives in, and it stimulates the brain.
So it's like a constant shock therapy.
Kind of. And it says that if the battery dies, the depression returns. That doesn't fix them. So, but my point is still, depression's a big story out there. And Robin Williams, who recently passed away, they're saying from depression, and when they did the autopsy, didn't have drugs or anything in it. It was just straight depression. So.
Although this implied there might have been some sexual autoerotic
Oh, did they?
stuff.
Well, I don't know, but according to this, they're not doing this in people right now, but of course that means people will line up because they want to get rid of their
Hey, if
depression.
they want constant shock, they can go to my parents' house.
All right, then we have long-term marijuana use. They're saying that even though it's a
'Cause that always works out
a
well.
mind-expanding drug, there's a new study conducted at the University of Texas at Dallas that links heavy long-term use of marijuana with smaller volume in the orbital frontal
I mean,
cortex.
they get stupid.
That's right, a brain region associated with decision-making and addiction. So in other words, on one part of the country, they're allowing you to use it for fun.
Right.
But remember, the global handlers always tell you the dangers. It's like the pills and the drinking and down below, they tell you all the stuff that it can do to you. So I want to make sure you know that yes, you're going to get stupid if that you have long-term use.
Well, now it's legal, marijuana is legal in Oregon,
Yeah.
Washington, Colorado, Alaska, and the District of Columbia, because Washington, D.C. doesn't have enough drugs and problems. They
guess.
need to make it legal now.
Yeah.
And while I was in New York, they announced that it's now legal in New York City to have 25 grams of pot on you without getting arrested.
Yeah, things are changing. Research at this place shows that earlier an individual starts using marijuana, the more pronounced the brain abnormalities.
Right.
So,
And plus chromosomal damage, which is old news.
yes, well, it is for those who can see energy fields anyway.
No, but that's fact.
Is it they do call that a fact of medical science? Okay, well, they say that whether or not these brain abnormalities cause any mental or emotional deficits isn't yet clear.
No.
Apparently they're still studying
No,
that.
that's because the guy's smoking pot while he's writing the report.
Probably.
It's not clear.
Not clear. Anyway.
I'm hungry.
Is that the point is, like we've talked about before, there's a difference between medical uses and balancing the body and just doing it for fun because you can. It's like cocaine and everything else. There are reasons you don't use it unless you need it. If you need it, that's another situation. And they have a new reality show called Ghost Inside My Child. And this has to do with one of the stories that they're featuring is about a woman who thinks that her 4-year-old son Andrew remembers his death as a U.S. Marine sergeant who died in a bombing explosion on October 23rd, 1983.
Right.
So apparently this child started talking about when he died and so on and so forth. And so that's what the feature part of the story is. But again, that has to do with, again, global ritual, astral, all that, making it normal for people to understand these things. And my last story, believe it or not.
You didn't have very much today, did you?
Well, I had several. Just we've been through them relatively quickly. Josh Hutcherson of the Hunger Games. I spoke about the Hunger Games.
I don't like that.
I don't either.
Serious.
Anyway, Josh Hutcherson now says that he is willing to try cannibalism for science. First of all, we're going to kill the people for fun. I guess then we're going to eat them.
Will these people already be dead or he's going to kill them?
He said he wasn't willing to kill them. But he said if somebody was going to donate their body for science or something and they needed somebody to taste them, he would eat them.
Why?
Well, I don't know. See, that's what these are all ways of imprinting people with what's coming up. That's my opinion.
And I just told you the story about that couple in Brazil that lured women to their house, killed them, and then made empanadas out of them.
Yeah, I think that was...
And gave it apparently to the school and told the school they were made out of tuna and chicken.
That's terrible. Yeah. So, no, lots of these things are going on, but it's becoming more and more commonplace. And this is how they open up the frequencies, which are how we talk about it. First is by shock and awe. Remember, I think that must have been a public ritual. Shock and awe. And then once the frequencies open and people start talking about it, then everything becomes commonplace. I don't know if did you see those pictures of Kim Kardashian?
I don't look at that. She's such a dope.
But it was really, it's just disgusting. But again, it's becoming more and more commonplace, this, what I call the degradation of society. And of course, I don't agree with participating in that.
She should hang out with, what's his name, the lunatic kid that sings.
Oh, Bieber?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just all a way of opening up the frequencies and making what's abnormal appear normal and what's normal appear abnormal. And, of course, people monkey see, monkey do. They're doing it, unfortunately, but true. So that's my news.
That's not like you to have so little.
No, I had a lot. I had like 8-10 pages here.
Unless you missed me so much while I was away, you couldn't even concentrate on
that must have been it. I had to do a lot of cleanup work while you were gone.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I did.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, but I do want to remind people, of course, as always, please like our Facebook page. We are now over 3,000 likes.
Or just like my face.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. As long as they put the little like switch, as long as they just click on that thing and then pass it around to all your Facebook friends, please. And we want to remind people that the January class is right around the corner.
Yep.
So
It's already snowing.
It's snowing. It's getting ready for you because it's going to be winter here in Michigan, and we're going to go inside, and that's the cool part about being in Michigan during January.
Gonna be cool, all right.
That's right. Is you get to go inside. You get to deal with the frequency of nature to help you look at your own inner self. So January is an amazing, amazing class. And then, of course, in the spring thaw, we are going to have Addicted to Addictions, Get Hooked on Health Instead. So both of these are our next big upcoming events that you want to prepare yourself for. And don't miss out. I think that's one of the things that, one of the big themes that we have going on right now. You never know what's going around the next corner. And you were telling me about another young person while you heard about when you were in New York that passed away.
Another person that I know, a young, well, he was in his 20s, I guess.
Yeah, but so many people of all ages are passing away. You don't know if it's the person next door. You don't know if it's somebody you know and love. You don't know, unfortunately, if it's you.
But unfortunately, it was also about drugs.
Was it? Yeah, we've had a lot of that going on, too. So, but this last year, we've had more people pass away. And again, you want to think about, what's going on inside of you. You don't want to hold on to your angers. You don't want to hold on to your resentments. You want to pass everything up. You want to stay happy and healthy because this is an opportunity for you to surpass.
Well, as you know, I have been doing a lot of research now on prophecies, what's coming up in 2015 specifically, how it relates to the U.S. and the other countries, and I am going to put it all together before the end of the year. And I will reveal a lot of that at the January class.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that the January class...
Because I think it's important. And the January class is not filmed, people, so you want to know you have to come here.
Yeah, because we have lots of
I'm not trying to hold it back. It's a lot. I can't do it in a video. I'm not going to write about it. I need to speak to you about it.
Yeah, so those who have ears to hear will be here.
And eyes to see.
Yes. All right, so there's
and bikinis to wear.
Yeah. Well, I know you're busy sewing those up for people.
I know, I have holes, but they're all in the right places.
Anyway, so that's it. That's all I have to say.
That's it. I guess we're going to be shoveling soon because there's a winter storm warning in effect for significant snow.
Now, you never know about that here.
Yeah, they said travel would be almost impossible.
Yeah.
But then again, it's impossible for me anyway.
Yeah. Well, they said that last week too, and last week we had just a little skiff of snow, so you never know.
Well, it's snowing now.
Yeah, but it's not, it's not like coming down. If it's just steady, small,
Remember
steady
what
snow.
Wednesday said in the Addams Family?
What?
Wait. Well, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.